if you replace a system of payments or governance or anything else, it's probably a good idea to make sure what you're replacing it with is at least as efficient, if not more efficient, than what was previously there. With that in mind, let's have a look at how the government intends to pursue you even after death for tax for winter fuel payments. Now, before I carry on, I'm going to give a personal anecdote from when I was in my late teens. In my teens, my mother unfortunately died. And it's a long time ago now, and I don't mention it for sympathy, but I do mention it because for several years afterwards, the local council kept trying to insist that she owed them money for the poll tax and for other amounts. Eventually, it got to the point where, after a year or two of this, I went to the graveyard and took a photo of the rather small grey headstone we had at that point and said to the Hackney Council, going, "Are you taking the piss? I've already sent you a death certificate and several other pieces of paper." However, Rachel Reeves has managed to go one better. Rachel will intend to be bothering the bereaved families of dead pensioners for winter fuel payment. The words ghoulish don't even cover it. It's so I don't know, your dearly beloved parents or sister or wife or husband has gone to join the choir eternal, and they owe a bit of money on the winter fuel payments, which weren't worked out properly, and due to the current mess, took months to pay, and they died during the intervening period. So Rachel will be coming after you. So let's read out a bit of this. Bereaved families of tens of thousands of dead pensioners could be pursued by tax officials. Lovely. This government lurches from idiocy to idiocy with from accounts up there. Be pursued by tax officials to recoup winter fuel payments under a new system being explored by the Treasury, the Guardian has learned. And mentioning Rachel, now people do tend to exaggerate slightly on their CVs, but in most jobs, Rachel's over exaggeration would have seen her canned and thrown out the door at a rather rapid rate. Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor, confirmed on Wednesday that more pensioners will get winter fuel payments. Well, no one knows what's quite happening with that yet, but whether it's going to be 10, 20%, 50%, how many pensioners will get them. After weeks of uncertainty over the government's decision to make a U-turn on scrapping the benefit. Yes, a U-turn which made them look highly embarrassed. Red in the face doesn't even begin to describe it. Ministers are looking at restoring the payments as a universal benefit and then recouping the money when high-income pensioners fill in their tax returns. Talk about a mess. However, government insiders are concerned about a time log of at least 6 months between the payment of up to £300 being made and it then being clawed back. It is feared that thousands could have died in that time, leaving grieving families to pick up the bill. Absolutely lovely. One source said we should never have scrapped the winter fuel payment in the first place, but the whole process of reinstating has been completely chaotic, which is why I opened this small talk with the idea that if you scrap something, you need to have a plan to put in place. If you knock down a house or want to build a new house, there's no point in just buying a random selection of bricks from your local builder's merchant, some bags of sand and a bit of concrete and just slapping it together. You would need some plans, some documents, some blueprints, and to look at things like whether the foundations would work on the ground you're using, whether there are issues like dry rot or mold. Instead, in its usual stunning way, the current government has decided to scrap it. We'll put something in there and bodge it together over a weekend. It's become absolutely pathetic. The Chancellor has brought forward a confirmation of the change to the 11,500 income threshold, over which pensioners are no longer eligible for the benefit in next week's spending review. And I'm going to end on that because Britain has one of the lowest pension rates for old age pensioners in the whole of Europe. And it's shocking to see how many pensioners are struggling and who are desperate. Every time I go to Mass at the weekend, I see loads of pensioners who are obviously struggling and are obviously desperate. And I'll go to do the shopping afterwards for my elderly father. And I will see pensioners poking around in the reduction section trying to make their pennies stretch. If this is not a country that is servicing the needs of the pensioners or those with disabilities in any way. They are being used as they're becoming increasingly marginalized and becoming ignored communities. And it seems to be this is what the government wants. And in an attempt to try and leap away from it a little bit, we're now digging into the grave to get people who are suffering from bereavement to start worrying about that. Fabulous.